Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all the ships at sea. Has it ever occurred to others beside myself that literally everything in our modern world is a scam, either at the micro or macro levels? Yes, folks, I'm talking literally everything in our modern, supposedly advanced world. Jobs, commerce, government, healthcare, law, and yes, even faith-based aspects. Now, I will not be completely negative here. There are still a few good faith-based organizations and churches around, but even those days seem to be dwindling to this puppet's eyes. Go look for a job in this postmodern landscape. Go ahead, try. You can quite literally send out 100 resumes and get as few as 3 interviews from those, even if you are well qualified and hold college degrees. And rest assured that you will be ghosted. Most places are simply running job ads for sport just to entice you and for no other reason whatsoever. For those 100 or so resumes that you send out, you can be assured that you might hear back from as many as 8 to tell you that they have decided on another candidate and that they wish your best in your continued job search. As for the other 92 jobs, like I said, you will probably get at least 3 interviews and maybe, if you're fortunate, as many as 10 interviews. So best case, you have heard from 18 of the 100 resumes you've sent out. But what about the other 82? Scams is what many of them are, folks, and nothing more. There are companies or corporations with a psychopathic bent. Either the hiring manager is a sadist or the ad agency is. There are places without a conscience, and those best avoided anyway. Sad that the work world has come to this, but I will always tell you the truth first and foremost, friends and colleagues. And how would this puppet know about the facts I just gave you? Well, let's just say that I had been around this rodeo a time or two. And what got you on this scam kick, puppet? Well, let's say that I had 3 things happen to me this past week, and none of them were good, and all could have been avoided had the parties I was dealing with been honest, upstanding citizens, which it will become obvious they were not in a couple minutes when I describe these. But before I get into those, I want to talk about scams in government and healthcare for a moment. Ever been laid off? Ever had to go file for unemployment insurance? Then you will have seen what kind of scam tactics the state government put you through of late to get what is lawfully and rightfully yours. Yes, you have worked half your life away and on the perpetual hamster wheel, and now need a bit of financial assistance to get you through a tough stretch. Well, the states are going to fight you tooth and nail on this, you can be assured. Why? Because you have psychopaths and sociopaths in positions of power running the scams. No other reason. First, you have to use up any and all vacation or severance pay. Next, you cannot have requested a payment from your 401k or IRA accounts, no matter what kind of hardship you find yourself in. Next, a weekly unemployment insurance voucher you must file on a state website is a minefield. One slip up or wrong answer and your benefits will be delayed at least a week, if not longer. In truth, the wording on many of the questions is so vague that the state and sociopaths are hoping you will become confused and answer a question or two wrong. The more they can save paying needy citizens, the more they can sit back and laugh, is all I can see for a reason here. So much for government that actually serves its citizens. And now, kids and cousins, this puppet is going to discuss the scams being regularly applied in the world of commerce. Many years ago, friends, I worked for a company that manufactured semi-trailers. We had a particular vendor who sold us tires and steel wheels sourced from China. One day we had a conversation and I asked him for details on how it was doing business in China. He told me that it just took a realization that in China the first words out of every business's mouth will be a lie. Do not expect anything else and prepare accordingly and you'll be fine. Why do I bring this up now? Well, I've come to the realization that we are to the same point now in the United States of America, and it is largely due to a lack of morals, honesty, and I will even say the influx of immigrants from, let's just say, more corrupt nations that have not helped in this area either. Ever heard that bad company corrupts good character, or you are who you hang with when you were a child? It turns out it's all true. What examples can this puppet provide? So recently I purchased a new desktop computer and I wanted to hook up 6 monitors to it. The main caveat being the need for a 6-monitor mounting stand. As such, I began my search on the usual online shopping websites, eBay and Amazon. In looking on those sites, it became apparent that going prices were higher than I wanted to pay. So I then went to plan B, whereby I simply typed 6-monitor stand into the DuckDuckGo search engine on my laptop web browser and watched what came up. If you have searched any of the main search engine websites of late, then you also know that the first results they present at the very top of their page are shopping results with images and prices of what you are searching for. Well, in my search results for a 6-monitor stand, I was shocked to see 5 listings for this item for the low price of $58.99 at a site I had never heard of before. So I proceeded to click on one of those listings and was taken to the site. Sure enough, the 6-monitor stand was there for $58.99, complete with a Buy It Now button that took me to a checkout page with common fields to either enter my credit card information or link to my go-to choice of PayPal for completing the online transactions. So after clicking on the PayPal link, entering my shipping information, and selecting a complete purchase button, my purchase had been made, and now all I had to do was wait for my item to arrive. So next thing I saw was an email from somebody named Juan Brown in my inbox telling me a USPS tracking number for my item. That was a red flag since I have never purchased from anyone named Juan Brown. Then after 2 more days, I received an email from PayPal stating that the seller had actually debited my PayPal account for $68.80, not the original $58.99 purchase price listed at the time of sale. Second red flag. And finally, after a week of waiting for my 6-monitor stand to arrive, I went to the USPS tracking site and entered the number Juan Brown had provided. Shocker. Now get this, my loyal viewers. The USPS site came back and stated that my item had been delivered on August 4th of this year to an address in Galveston, Texas, thousands of miles away from where I actually live, and 1 month before when I actually ordered the item. Suffice it to say that I promptly emailed this scammer, Juan Brown, if that's who he was, to ask for a refund and to stop the scamming. Well, surprise, Juan Brown never replied. So next day I contacted PayPal and educated them to the scam, and my money was then refunded to my account within another week. What to do next, loyal viewers? After all, I still needed a 6-monitor stand. Well, I went back to DuckDuckGo search engine and did another search for my item. This time, I saw another few listings in their shopping results that were listed at $89.99. I clicked on one, and it took me to a site that looked like Overstock.com. So I then proceeded to hit the Buy It Now button, proceed to PayPal, and completed the transaction. Again, all I had to do was sit and wait. Well, the first red flag was that I waited 3 days and never received a USPS tracking number from the seller. Then I also received an email from PayPal after the second day informing me that the seller had in fact taken $103.48 from my account, not the advertised price of $89.99. Red flag number 2. The final red flag was my going into my PayPal account and seeing that the seller was not listed as Overstock.com, but Andrea Olivares. What? So as I did before in the Juan Brown scammer situation, I promptly sent an email to this Andrea Olivares scammer telling the person that I wanted a prompt refund. Well, surprise, Andrea Olivares never replied to my email either. So next step was to get PayPal involved and tell them of the scam and ask for a refund. As I expected, they responded to me promptly, and my full purchase price was refunded within another week. So kids and cousins, here I sit 2 weeks later with no 6-monitor stand in hand and 2 scammers still on the loose. Example number 3 is this. I have a couple 3D printers and needed some black PLA filament to print parts with. I wanted to match exactly the brand of the prior spool of black PLA printing material I'm running low on in case I need to change spools mid-print, so my printed parts do not have a noticeable split in them of color and or surface texture. So after much online searching, I found my brand in black color on a reputable, or so I thought, site called Newegg.com. So kids and cousins, I made my purchase and waited. Well, the plastic printer filament arrived yesterday. It was in fact the exact brand I needed, but the color was blue. What? So I went to Newegg.com's site and filled out a request for exchange with the correct black color that I originally purchased, and shipped it back today via UPS. Well, I was then shocked to see an email in my inbox from Newegg.com telling me that the black PLA filament was in fact out of stock, and all they could do for me was to issue a refund. I was taken aback, folks. Why could a well-known company like Newegg.com not simply be honest and tell me the black color was out of stock at the time of the purchase and save me the packing tape and gasoline I spent today to get it to a UPS store for return? Viewers, this smacks highly of dishonesty and a scammer organization. Suffice it to say that this puppet will never order from Newegg.com again, ever. Where do we go from here, friends and colleagues? I quite frankly do not know. Everywhere I look, all I see are liars, cheats, and scammers, and at all levels of operation. Good night, my loyal viewers, and sleep well.